So happy Monday everyone. We're going to have a look at a poem in praise of creation. In particular, which themes are explored in the poem. Now I'm hoping that this approach will help you not only to approach new poems but also any unseen text you have. So I've called the lesson which themes are explored in praise of creation, and then also a new way to approach a new poem. Now just a little note on the process of today. By the end of the lesson, this is what you should have done. First, you'll have an analysis of the poem that you've undertaken independently without looking at external sources. Second, you'll have the opportunity to discuss your ideas with a peer and then compare, contrast, add to your own ideas and strengthen your own views through justifying them to someone else. Thirdly, you have the opportunity to follow a paragraph structure and write 2 to 3 paragraphs on the themes that you found in the poem, hopefully following a structure that gives your ideas clarity and addresses the assessment objectives. Now I know it's not all about examinations and assessment objectives, but it's also helpful to address those as well when writing about new texts. The first thing I want you to do is read the poem aloud. So once you've done that, taking time and care over the punctuation and the lines and where they end and stopping as appropriate and really feeling the sound of the words in your mouth, decide what you think the poem is about. Write down your initial impressions of the topic and the tone of the poem, so the mood of the poem. And at this point, if there are any new words that you think you cannot figure out from the context, look them up. I would also take the opportunity to decide on what you think each stanza is about and label the poem. It may be that several stanzas have the same topic, and this will help you when writing about it later. Secondly, you need to read through the poem again, paying attention to language. This doesn't have to be out loud, but it may be helpful to you if it is. So, are there any words or phrases that stand out for you? Annotate them. Are there any words that rhyme or have a similar sound, not quite a rhyme, like a half rhyme? Is there a regular rhyme scheme? Or maybe it's written in free verse. Why might this be significant? Are any words or phrases repeated? So do we have mere repetition of a word or anaphora, repetition of a phrase? And what's the reason behind that, do you think? Link it back to your original idea, your overview. Now, next to each language point that you found, don't simply highlight them. Write why you think they are significant. A few words, why you think this part is significant. Remember to make a note about what you were thinking as you read and link your ideas back to your initial thoughts on the poem. Take some time to do that now. Now, the third part of this process is read through the poem, paying attention to the structure. So look at the poem on the page, look at the shape, look at the number of stanzas. All of these could be significant decisions that the writer has made. Take a close look at the punctuation and the pauses. Why are they there? Where are they? What are you being caused to look at again or rethink or pause and deliberate over by the use of a full stop? What is the effect of that caesura? Are there some words that are perhaps been put there in between some commas? A complex sentence, why has that been created? What is your attention drawn to? What's added by that choice of punctuation? Are stanzas split for a particular reason? Are they going through a cycle or different topics? What is the role of enjambment in this? Are some words highlighted by being at the end of a line? Are some words given importance by being at the beginning of a line? Write all your answers to the questions and any others you have on the poem next to the relevant part. You may feel like you want to use some images, some little drawings, some different colours. It's up to you. Now that you've read through the poem a few times, you should have an idea of what you think the big ideas, the themes are. So choose from this list or decide your own. I'm going to give you a hint. Some of these ideas may or may not be themes of the poem. I might just be joking. So there's a definite idea of this awe and wonder of nature, this idea of life cycles and changes of seasons, about the universe and the earth being consciously designed by a higher power, this idea of animals mating and whether it's attraction or a pattern they follow. There's praise of a God who has created this well-ordered but wonderful world, and also ruminations on the power of nature. Now you've got this far, put your pens and pencils down, take a deep breath. Consider whether this poem has any modern relevance and be prepared to share your view. So at this point now, you should share your ideas with a peer, somebody new. Be supportive, be thoughtful, be open-minded. If you disagree, justify your ideas. If you agree, but because of a different part of the poem, in terms of the language or the structure, tell them. This is the point at which you should begin to write about the poem in a structured way. So I've given an example paragraph structure here that you could follow that addresses assessment objectives, has some questions to prompt you, and also is clear instruction on how to structure a paragraph. Start with a topic sentence. Make a clear statement about a theme or an idea in the poem. Next, state your evidence that shows this. It can be a word or a phrase. Explain clearly what this made you imagine, think or feel as a reader of the poem. If you can, look for anything that the sound helps you imagine. Maybe this word belongs to a certain family of words and it has other associations, other connotations to you. Maybe it links to other parts of the poem, so there's a pattern running through the poem in terms of language or structure used. And if you can, link it to the real world or emotions that you have experienced. Perhaps you've looked at the stars and noticed that the constellations look slightly different in different countries, or you've noticed how small you feel in comparison when you realise there are planets out there. And maybe you can link this to your idea of the themes of the poem overall. Can you track themes through a poem? Have a go now.